some reason I had to take my stream down, and so I kind of managed to, I would not say manage, but we kind of like just set up, I had a setup for React, and created a React application, and it had interface, and it's running on port number 3000. If you don't know how to create a React application, I think everyone already know how to create a React application nowadays. Also, it's super easy to look it up. So you basically install this package globally, create React app, and then you give the name for the application. Could be test, could be anything. So after some time you will have everything, all the dependencies downloaded, and at some point you will have your React application working, as you can see. And let's also get rid of it. Okay, so what I did, I basically created this thumb components folder, and the idea is to, okay, so I was so this is kind of like out of the loop thing. So I was just creating a thumbnail for React, or maybe for our live stream, but kind of I suck at design, as you can see. So the idea is we're gonna build a simple notes taking application, and we are already working on the API in Clojure. So this section will be header, and this box, it will be like a way to create posts. So this box right there, so, and post button, and all the notes will be down there, and inside it's like a tag section, right? Tags, and yep. So let's undo that. Hope you understand, and let's get into it. Yep, so it's kind of like super easy, and I'm also going to be using Bootstrap, and we will not use Sass, less, anything like that, because it just takes so much time to like set up those things. So I will just focus on coding it. And we are also not going to use any custom CSS as much as possible. So I will probably avoid creating custom CSS. So we're going to use Bootstrap, and let's see how we're going to install it. So one way could be to just use the npm package for Bootstrap, but I'm gonna just throw it inside the directories. File css.js, source, and minim.css. I see. So one thing also, if you want to like remove all the elements that you don't need, you probably gonna use Sass at some point, and for larger projects I would simply recommend Sass. So if you're just building a small application, you're probably not going to use let's say Bootstrap for anything that is as small as just a notes taking application. So the reason being, if you're like building a small blog, or just not blog, just a simple application where you just want to get things done. So I have like this grid it named like CSS grids flex, something like that. Grid by example flex, I don't know. So in one of my project, more like in my portfolio, which I should not be showing, but since anyway, so if you go to repositories, go to portfolio, so source directory and resources CSS, so flexbox grid. So if you want to just build something very simple, you just use flexbox grid. It saves you like ton of CSS, and it has like all the things you need in CSS, and it's also like as close, it's super close to I would say Bootstrap, so it will be like easy to convert. And what else for anything else, I'm just calling a reset. So let's close that in case you want to check out the site, and it's still like under construction, and I'm using, so as you can see, it's kind of responsive, right? So this part, yep, still responsive. So CSV part still responsive, contact responsive overall. So I'm using Gatsby for that, and yep. So I know, like for something like that simple, you probably don't need Bootstrap. So we are using simply just to move things faster. And okay, so reveal in Explorer components. So in source directory resources, we're gonna put CSS. So I think we just use the main CSS file, and it will compile or like it will shrink it. So let's see what else we got. Okay, so get rid of that thing, and let's go to app.js, and what we're gonna do, import from components layout. In layouts we will use master or common, I don't know, we will name it something. Let's create a new folder, layouts. Okay, since we just want going to have like one layout, so we can also call it index. That way we simply just import the layout and the index.html, index.js, right? So we're gonna copy that. Let's get rid of everything, and we also going to get rid of this thing. So if I'm pretty sure if we just import layout, it will import index, right? But you can't be so sure in React world, or maybe Java world, JavaScript world, never mind. So what we are doing, we have like defined an app, right? Header, image. So we're gonna get rid of this and this. Instead of application, we're gonna call it layout, and just delete that, don't need that. Okay, we also not gonna write tests, but now we deleted that. We also don't need that. But let's see if we have any reference to logo, we will comment it out, and the whole thing we just gonna clean everything, right? So let's see if everything is working properly, and that is not the case. And why is that? Let's call it layout, return that, and should be happy. Now let's add hello world. So to call hello world, we will do something like so import layout from React. So is it going to be this? And we're just gonna call that layout index hello world. So is our console okay? It's happy, seems like it. So let's create a test. Okay, it's working. Are we returning? Yes, we are returning everything. Hello world, it's okay. Maybe we call import layout master. Let's try to master. But oh, that is awesome. Okay, now there is something off, right? And if we create this layout returning that, so to fix that issue we will probably look at some reference. React create not really, React applications demo, React XML demo and code. Create React project. Movie, I would be interested in code. So go to application, index.html. I have to say script application component. So in application they are okay. So app main, okay, so the class name is exported. Okay, it's always crazy to remember, you know. So from layout from, and we're going to call it index dot, and let's call it like that, and we're gonna close everything. So we do get hello world. Now one thing I also want to test out is just to like create an empty node and see if it throws an error, and it does not. So I think it because it could be a yes, so in lowercase it could be HTML string, HTML tag. So yes, that's why the React classes are uppercase, the React component, you might want to say. Okay, React, so we are to function return app. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And layout, in layouts we will create a header.js, and footer.js. So using React, it reminds me of PHP. Back in Code Igniter days, you simply do that, where you just have everything in the same file, like PHP code. Okay, let's copy there, and we will call header. Then Ruby kinda introduced how to like use views in proper way. Then everything sort of like build upon it, and like you separate your views from the code. And React still decided to have it in the render method. I think it's kind of required if you think about it. You have to like add all these handlers. So footer, header, and in header, I don't know, simple. Let's look at bootstrap examples. Also look at in theme. If we have like matching theme, we will just try to get. Okay, so probably not. Example, let's say documentation, and what we are looking for, navigation, components, navigation. Let's copy that. Okay, so it's gonna give us warnings about the class, but before that we also have to import like header and footer. So add footer 2. Footer we can simply keep it empty. React, so import footer, header, and name is correct for this. It's gonna be footer. And let's just name it header. Import from header from this, import footer from footer, right? So we get header, and we also have footer. This is one thing I like about Gatsby, like the basic layout is already sorted out and you don't have to worry much. Okay, so application layout, okay, layout, and okay, so there is some error at the HTML. Okay, that's there, fine. So link, right? One more thing we're gonna do, application. So at some point we also want to pass like children to like layout, right? So we also have to handle that. I think it will just work it by itself. And right, so what we're gonna do, import bootstrap, import layouts, no really, CSS, bootstrap.css, and yep, it's kind of like working. So we get this thing working right now. That's not it, we need a proper header. So for that we will basically Google it. I think there is already an example for that in Bootstrap. Okay, navigation, nav bar, I don't know, let's see. Yep, we got it. Okay, so let's go to header, copy that. So once you paste that, you have to like do a lot of cleaning. The reason is in React you basically have to change few tags, like class, it will throw an warning, so you have to use like class name. Also you have to close every tag in React. So okay, HTML form, so we will get rid of most of this. So it will get rid of search, navbar, Dropbox. Now we don't need that, so it's already like a lot of clutter has been removed. So button, okay, let's try to run that. So it's properly working, and just gonna get rid of everything just to make it like a bit more clear, and add class name, href, navbar, let's go nodes, expand large, lightweight, and margin auto, href. So we still get a few warnings from href to be accessible, but at some point we will just get rid of that, or more like we don't even need, we only need log out and login option. So let's remove most of it, and then not active, add active, sorry, login. Okay, we also want to margin auto it to be like right side. We will see how to push it right side, right? So for now looks good. I would not say looks good, but kind of working. Okay, so we have layout. Inside layout you can say layout. Now the thing is, we have login page, logout page, and application. Now if I'm not wrong, we have to set up React route. So yeah, I think we have to kind of, now I see why Gatsby and other things are used more. I remember setting up React router kind of was, it's a lot of work. React web, install React router DOM, and okay, it's gonna be in application, component, home, about. Interesting. So instead of moving our main routes in components, I would much prefer to have it as a pages. So it would be like something, so pages, and we could have like login.js, logout.js, login, logout, and we will have home.js, which will be protected. If you are not logged in, it will redirect you to login page. Register.js. So yeah, before further ado, let's go ahead and add this package. Nodes interface. React router DOM. Okay, the package is installed. Now let's do this thing where we go to our application and call it so we will import this thing. Then in router we define all this stuff, and we're gonna get rid of that. So the app element is also gone. I don't know why they decided. Header, component path, if the path exact. So we will see if we need the class name. So first of all, let's get rid of that, and we're gonna get rid of that to link this is no, we're gonna get rid of it. So we have routes defined, and now for home we're gonna use this. Let's copy one of our component. I'm interested in the decide and use function, but let's say, so we're not gonna import anything, and we're going to use home, and let's call it home, and we will return simple text home, right? Save it, close that. Application, exact index. Now get rid of this, and let's go ahead and import from pages home, and we need to make sure the home was capital. From current directory pages, okay, home is capital, we can use it as home, right? So we do that, and we provide this, and let's start the server. Hopefully everything works. npm start. So let's check out the console, and and it's working. So it's as easy as it is as that. So now the home component is working. One thing we can do for pages, we can simply import the layout from components. Import layout. Okay, so I was thinking, should we import in here, or if should we just make a big import in the application file, right? So we already specified the router, and let's see if we use this, right? And layout, and let's wrap inside it, and it's kind of working, right? But it's not rendering our home. The reason being, we have to render children's from where we are, header. So this method will receive props, and I think we might wanna use React class, or maybe we will simply console.log this, but let's see. So it's undefined. So now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna define class home header, not header, probably not in here, we are doing just fine, probably in index, right? So what I'm gonna do, class layout, right? And it will extend the react.component. Hopefully this is the correct way of doing that. So we will have next function render function, right? Okay, so why it's anyways token constructor. Okay, so something is off. We will just look at the syntax, right? Did mount extends React components. Okay, so in JavaScript we don't use function, we simply provide the method name, and render is we have to replace with e. Then we take this method and we simply put it in here, and let's check it out if it's still working, and it is working. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna console.log this, and let's see what we get. We get props. In props we will have children's, right? We have children's. So what we're gonna do, so I want to see if we get props in argument. I am pretty sure we do get it. So props, and I'm not sure. No, we don't get it, so we are good. Do we cast this? So what we're gonna do, we're simply gonna call this props children, and now we get home that we defined inside our page's home page. So yep, right, so we have something working. Now let's go to React. This is over. What we're gonna do, I think there is no way for us to define a sidebar in Bootstrap, so we have to like provide it with grid system. So the layout is done. Okay, so we are home. Instead of homes, why don't we just call notes.js, and in app.js we call it that is interesting. Okay, so notes. So let's see if there is anyone watching our stream, or are we live, even live? So one person is watching, probably. That is awesome. So let's kill the resolution. Okay, so now that part is done. So we defined home and we're gonna use notes, right? So we basically provide notes and log in, log out notes, home page, layout. So footer is gonna be empty now. So the sidebar thing is only required for notes page, so we will not add it globally. So for login, log out, register, logout doesn't really have any page, so it's just a method. So for register and login, we simply have a full wide page. Interesting. So let's get rid of that. So we have login, and we will use import all those packages, login, and as we're naming that, let's go copy that. Okay, so one thing I don't like these methods. I would have a proper class, because at some point, let's say in login, we basically need a lot of stuff, and so login index, right? So we will copy the layouts from layout. Let's go to login, and we also need to import everything. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that. Now let's name it login and export default, right? Also we will just add login, right? Let's copy this thing, and for logout we probably not gonna have anything. It will be just a method, and we're not gonna render anything in here. So it will basically reset our cookie. So just for now, we gonna say logout, right? So notes page, I think we're gonna also notes, right? Notes. Okay, register, let's copy that. Register, so let's go to app.js and assign those pages: login, register, and logout. Login, register, login, logout, register. and we have login. So log out is missing. We're gonna add it in here probably. Register. So log out, login, and register, right? So now let's go to login, and we do get login, right? And register, and we do get, so everything is working correctly as of now. Now one thing we're gonna do, let's go to pages and nodes. So we have this div and nodes. So let's go to Bootstrap. We're gonna use some of its components. So let's say grid system. Okay, so before we do that, I also want my application to be in a container. So index, add class name container, right? So let's look at our application now. It's like concise and slim, but if we want to like make it full page, you just add fluid, right? So yeah, okay. So if you're wondering why the header div class name row, right. Okay, call md 12. Okay, never mind. So in case you are wondering why call md, we're not gonna do that, right? We are not here to fix things, so we will just use fluid as of now. Call md index add fluid. Sorry, we're gonna just use this, right? So for navigation, we will add a raw, and to make it even, so forget this now, and let's go to nodes page and call a class name, define a row, and add a call empty, which is medium sized devices. So we will have a 4 and 4 to 8 ratio, right? So in here we have a sidebar. So we are in the wrong page, we cannot go to, right? So in here we have sidebar. Right there we will have content. Now you may be wondering, so it's not outside, that's good. So yeah, sidebar is bit big, so we're gonna shrink it down. So we can also make it 2 and make it 10. So sounds right. Now what we're gonna get is info forum, code user input, forum, text area. So we're gonna just copy that. Let's see if there's any example. Just watching, I'm the one watching, nice. So let's see if there's any example. Of This looks interesting. So instead of forums, or we'll just add input text area, put text area and call it like that. So it's not gonna style it. Let's see, text area. Okay. Text area, copy that, add it as HTML, then we're gonna copy. Okay. We just get rid of a lot of things. So is valid. So all we needed was a forum control class name. Now since we added that, so it's kind of like looking good now. Probably there's a lot more room to improvement, but so in sidebar, what we're gonna do, we're gonna call it h2 and name it tags. Probably h2 is a bit big. Right. So we're gonna call it tag hr br. So yes, we can say text line center class name text center. Okay, so this kind of looks super stupid and ugly, but it will be like a lot of time. It will take a lot of time to make it pretty, and I want to just focus on the logic. So yes, now what we can do, we can go ahead and create a button post. We can say lower post, and we're gonna say class name btn. Okay, btn pull right, right, btn default and btn. Okay, so I think them change the classes a bit. So h3 is kind of big, just make it p, then we make it bold. Can we add bold? So we will just add strong. Never mind. So we had tags and post. So right there, let's add few example tags, and it will be like idea, something like that. A, make it empty idea. Then we will have something comment message. So that way we can like filter it out. So we can simply get rid of all those commas, and yes. Okay, we will see why it's not behaving correctly. So we have tags, we will add post, Let's see how it will look like at the bottom. So we added HR, as you can see. So I think there is something wrong, which is we should be calling it 10. So now it's like super big, but we will shrink the size of text area. So at the bottom we will let's lorem ipsum copy that. So cultive and we get the node, and we can also add HR and copy this. We're gonna paste there HR. So you get the idea, like this is the way we're gonna have tags and posts. So we should be able to, like, at some point filter it out, post tags. Yes. Okay, so yeah, we kind of did a lot of things today. We started with the empty project. Now we have like set up routing and login and log out page. Well, not properly, but you got the idea. So we will add login form and stuff like that. So I think that's about it today. I will just push this code somewhere on GitHub. First commit. Region master, but we don't have any branch. So let's go to GitHub. Your profile, create new repo, sorry. Notes interface, create it. Then it initialize, we already initialized it, right? So we're gonna add the origin, and then we're gonna push it, push master. So yep, so yes, that's about it for today. If you want the URL or the source code, there is the source code. So I'll be